cutting effort. One of the DOGE engineers was fired for some inappropriate posts. The vice president says, bring him back. What do you say?
Well, I don't know about the particular thing, but if the vice president said that, did you say that? I'm with the vice president. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks to Vance now, you have this DOGE employee whose stated position is that Indians should feel hated in America. He's going to be rehired, and then Vance gets to go home to his Indian American wife and his Indian American kids and look them in the eyes and say that a guy who wants you to feel uncomfortable in your own country now has a top job again in the government thanks to me. Like, Vance had a chance to defend his own family, and he opted instead to defend the Indian-hating bigot instead. Like, Chris, where are the balls on these Republican men? Trump calls Ted Cruz's wife ugly. Ted Cruz becomes Trump's best friend. Elon wants the DOGE kid who hates Indians back, and Vance does his bidding while his Indian wife and kids are at home. Like, do they castrate these guys at the door of the RNC?
Boy. So we have to continue our coverage of the mainstream liberal media boo-hoo, whining, and crying about Elon Musk and the DOGE team exposing the corruption of the Democrat Party, the waste, fraud, and abuse that is so prevalent throughout all of the government. Okay, Democrats are losing their minds right now, and the meltdowns are getting more and more hilarious. Okay, so the meltdown we got to talk about here today is the liberal media's obsession with the whiz kids that are helping out Elon Musk, that are on the DOGE team, right? The talented engineers. And one of the engineers that they have been obsessed with is Big Balls, right? Big Balls. They've been talking about him for the last few days.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big Balls.
Big Balls, who worked for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE.
In the one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online, Big Balls here, that Katie's talking about.
A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls.
So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Young computer whizzes, the aforementioned Big Balls.
Because who among us doesn't feel better about big balls in charge of American air traffic control?
However, unfortunately for the mainstream liberal media, they have not forced Big Balls off of the team yet, right? To my knowledge, I don't think that Big Balls has been fired from DOGE yet, because that's the point. The whole point is to try to dox and expose these DOGE engineers in order to force them to be fired, right? To generate outrage from the public in an attempt to cancel them, right? That's what they want to do, okay? This is just cancel culture outrage coming from the left to try to stop Elon Musk. This is how desperate they are, okay? They're trying one tactic after another. Unfortunately for the mainstream liberal media, the latest tactic really is not working out. Even though it looked like it was going to work out, but it's not going to work out, apparently, thanks to J.D. Vance. Because there was another staffer who left-wing operatives looked into, and they found some social media posts that he made that have been deemed to be racist. Now, I personally do not support the things that that individual said, okay? However, J.D. Vance felt as if the staffer resigning, and I'm assuming he was forced to resign, is just the DOGE team, the Trump White House, giving into the cancel culture of the left. Okay, so JD went to X to advocate for this DOGE staffer to be rehired, and Elon Musk ended up basically rehiring the guy, right? So they're bringing him back because JD said, you know what, we're not going to give into the left, and we're not going to capitulate to the mob, which low-key I kind of like, right? It's kind of based, right? It's very based for J.D. Vance to come out and say, no, we're not going to let them dictate who can and cannot work for our government. So with that being said, I want to react to all the boohoo whining crying about this on CNN, and I'm going to tell you guys why the left has zero room whatsoever to boohoo whine and cry about racists working for the government. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
This is who they've decided to defend. The user called for the repeal of the Civil Rights Act. He called for a eugenic immigration policy. He said the world should normalize Indian hate. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna, who is Indian American and is here tonight, like Vance's wife, is also Indian American. He asked the vice president just a simple question on X. Are you going to tell him to apologize for saying, quote, normalize Indian hate? before he is rehired into the government, just asking for the sake of both of our kids. That apparently struck a nerve. Vance responded telling Khanna to grow up, adding, quote, racist trolls on the internet, while offensive, don't threaten my kids. But he says a culture that denies grace to people who make mistakes does. Vance went even further in another post, accusing Khanna of emotional blackmail of the DOGE staffer, adding, quote, you disgust me. Well, the congressman is here, so I want to start with you because I, for one, was flabbergasted by that exchange. How did you take it?
I was surprised that he reacted in the way he did. Look, I praised Usha Vance actually just a week and a half ago. I said, as an Indian American, I'm proud of her ascent as a second lady. And I've known Usha, I've known the vice president. And all I was saying is you have someone who's 25 years old who has made deeply offensive comments about Indian Americans, who has talked about repealing the Civil Rights Act, who has talked about his disapproval of interracial marriage. You're going to rehire him. Is he going to apologize? Is he going to have any accountability? No one is saying cancel him. But you can't just rehire him and say, okay, everything is fine, and he's going to represent the United States government.
All right, so here's where the hypocrisy comes in from the left. Here's where the hypocrisy comes in. All that sounds great, right? All that sounds great, okay, from Khanna. But the problem is that for these people that claim to have such a big issue with so-called racists working in the government, why is it that they have zero problem with all the racists that are currently working in the government that are Democrats?
I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education.
Like Iowa. Governor Reynolds, let's learn more about the state. Do you know what percentage of Iowans are white and what percentage are black?
I don't know the exact percentages, no. We're by far a larger percentage of white population.
That's correct. Iowa is 90% white and only 4.5% black. So that is drastically different from the national population. So when Republicans suggest Iowa should be a national model, they're advocating for a government that doesn't reflect our country. So let's talk about what this model.
Wow. So this is why, once again, we have fake outrage from the Democrats, right? Fake outrage. These people don't give a damn about racists being in the government. Some of these superstars of the Democrat Party are overt anti-white racists. What you just heard there from Ayanna Pressley talking about Iowa was her basically saying, listen, we can acknowledge that Iowa is great in all of these things because that's the whole point of the hearing, right? They were talking about Iowa being a leading state in this country when it comes to retirement, when it comes to cost of living, when it comes to governance, when it comes to things that the American people actually care about. Iowa is an up-and-coming state. It's a really good state, okay? Republican led. It's a good example of what happens when you have good, conservative, solid leadership. Okay. Ayanna Pressley says, nah. We shouldn't use that as a model because the state is too white, right? There's too many white people. Therefore, it's a problem. It doesn't get more racist than that. But again, where's the boohoo whining crime from CNN? Where's the boohoo whining crime from Brian Tyler Cohen? Where's the boohoo whining crying from the Democrats? So again, I want you to understand, we live in a world, a country, where it's okay to be openly racist towards whites. and you can work for the government. You can get a job on national television. You can be at the highest levels in corporate America, academia. You can be an elected politician. And nobody cares, right, that you're racist. As long as you're racist towards whites, great. Okay, awesome. Nobody gives a shit. But if you just so happen to express viewpoints in which you may be racist towards so-called people of color, now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now all of a sudden the tears are coming out. This is terrible. The worst thing is we can't have a racist working for the government. It's like, we already have racists working for the government. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What you crying about? Again, that's the issue. And that's why J.D. Vance is right. And I'm not even supporting what the dude said. I don't agree with what the dude said. But to me personally, I don't give a damn about the dude being racist. All I give a damn about, can he code, right? Is he a great engineer? Is he going to get the job done? Which, according to the people who kind of know what's going on, these guys are working like crazy. They're working around the clock. Something that is unheard of within our government.
Fun anecdotes from DOGE you want to share?
I'll give you one anecdote, which is I've been working late here a number of nights at the EOB. And I won't tell you where the DOGE guys are based, but I know where their office is. So I just went by there to say hi. The whole room was full of young coders. I think they were engineers, but they were wearing like suits and ties. So that's a little different. But they were all working really late. I mean, they're working there late up Friday night. And the facilities people don't know what to do because they've never had people like asked to stay late on Friday night before. So they've had to create new facilities access for these guys.
Yeah, so we got one of the best teams of engineers in the world working around the clock to fix our government, to upgrade our systems, to do things that is going to benefit the American people, to expose the Democrat Party and their corruption. But I'm supposed to care about one of these guys or a couple of these guys, who knows, right? According to the media, all of them are racist. They're white supremacists. I'm supposed to care about them being racist? But I'm not supposed to care about Jasmine Crockett and Ayanna Pressley being racist, though, right? We're supposed to be totally fine with that. Elected members of Congress. Again, this is why the tears from the Democrats are fake. They have no room whatsoever to be boo-hoo-whining and crying about so-called racists working for the government. Zero, none. So, me personally, since this is what we have, okay, racists working for the government, all I care about, can they get the job done? That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care about their racist viewpoints. I don't give a damn about that. Can they get the job done?
Why not cancel him? Just asking, because we're living in an era where we're being told that if you talk about diversity, you should be canceled out of the government, but you can post racist posts as of a month and a half ago and welcome in.
Yeah, in a world where
nobody's canceling you for talking about diversity. You're being canceled because your job has nothing to do with making the government more productive, right? That is why the DI people are being canceled out of the government, okay? That's why. Because you're being paid to do something that does not produce a positive return on investment for the American people and our tax dollars. Again, a concept that's too complicated for Abby Phillips and her simple brain to grasp.
DEI and critical race theory and affirmative action are under attack. I feel like we're protecting white supremacists and racists and attacking black and brown people who want to be part of the fabric of the country. And I'm curious how the vice president would explain to his Indian children why he stood up for somebody who said normalize Indian hate. Like, what would he say? And that issue may not come up today.
He also called the guy a racist troll. He acknowledged that this person who he wants back in the government is racist.
They obviously fired him in the first place, right? Why did they fire him?
Well, and I think there's two things that I see happening here. The first one is that this is the signal to his voters that we are going to let these things slide, that you can't be canceled anymore. For all of us, however, the other vast majority of Americans, we're standing by the fact that we are going to hold people accountable to that. And with all due respect, Congressman, an apology would not suffice for me in this particular circumstance. This is a moral character bedrock of somebody's perspective of the world. I don't care what you got on your grades at Stanford. I don't care what coding competition you won. These are not the kinds of people who should be filtering the biggest decisions in the design of this
So what,
country.
he's banished off into the desert
No,
for eternity?
you're-
Like, wreck
I'm
his
not
life,
interested
wreck
in
his
your
career, send him off into
So you're
nobody.
okay with racism in your party?
Hold on, man. Let me finish. That is not what I said, so don't even go there. Absolutely not. I think it's abhorrent what he said. I frankly agree. If he's willing to acknowledge what he said was wrong and apologize for it, we are a compassionate people. Why can't we give
He didn't do that.
Well, we don't know that he's done that or not.
But he has
I'm just-
access to the World Wide Web. And you're welcome to apologize. We're very much looking forward to it.
I'm just saying. I don't think he need to apologize, right? I think that the people that he should consider apologizing to, probably the people on his team. Okay, but even then, you supposed to apologize for having an opinion. Has Jasmine Crockett apologized? Has Ayanna Pressley apologized? Has any of the racist Democrats? Have the black racists and the Democrats, have they apologized for anything? Okay? Any other anti-white comments that they said? No. Right? So why should this dude apologize? Again, that's what I don't understand about these people. Apparently they don't like racism in the government except from their own party. It's just amazing how that works. Again, I'm not supporting what the dude said. I agree with what he said. But I'm just saying, ultimately, I don't think his viewpoints on race have very much to do with his actual job and what he's there to do, okay, which is to essentially help upgrade the government and the infrastructure and to get the most out of American taxpayer dollars. As long as he's doing that, if he's doing the job and he's one of the best in the world at doing that, hey, it is what it is. It don't bother me that much, okay? It don't bother me. It can't bother me but so much knowing that we have overt racists in Congress that nobody seems to care about. So hopefully there are no Indians harmed in the upgrading of the government. I don't think any Indians will be harmed. So, it is what it is. The fake tears for the Democrats and the liberal media, they're powerless at this point. And that's the whole point of what J.D. Vance did. J.D. Vance just basically castrated the liberal media and their cancel culture. That's what he did. He basically just said, no. We're not going to allow you to do this, okay? We can dictate who works for the government, who doesn't work for the government. You're not going to be able to dot and harass people off of our team. You're not going to do that, right? It's just not going to happen. And I think it's a boss move from J.D. Vance. It's a move that he is doing to basically establish that you don't have any control. The liberal media, you have no control over our movement, okay, at all. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.